What's going on, guys? Today we're going to look at soft plastics and in particular how to rig them properly and efficiently. Now there is a number of different plastics out there on the market. I'm sponsored by Keeghan, so they are the ones that I use pretty much 99.9% of the time. When we're talking about plastics, really here in Australia for bass, the main one I would say that I throw is a standard paddle tail soft plastic. We do use different variations too, you know, you've got your paddle tail soft plastics, curly tail soft plastics, and then you've got your creature baits as well. So your creature baits are things that are going to look like your crayfish, your red claw, other forms of insects and bugs, and they're the three main ones we're going to be talking about today. So for the first part, I'm going to go over exactly how to rig a paddle tail soft plastic. For you guys that use lures, you probably already know this. However, this may be great for some of the guys that are trying to step up from bait and jump into the lure game, in which case soft plastics are probably the most inexpensive but also a really efficient way of jumping into the lure scene. So let's dive down and have a look up and close at some of the tips and tricks that I've learnt that maybe you guys can use along the way as well. Alrighty guys, so here's a few bits and pieces of what I've got. I've got some Keeghan 2-inch easy shiners, which is predominantly one of the main plastics that I use in my bass tournaments. So let's start off with a really easy way. It's basically just a Texas rig, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. So here I've got about a size 1 jig head TT headlocks in a 1/6 ounce. So what's really important, guys, is you want the plastic to always be rigged straight, right? You want this hook point to be coming straight, not at an angle, but nice and straight out of this little groove down here. So pretty much the easiest way to do it, if you've never done it before, see where it actually matches up to. If you want to hold it up, like that, you can see exactly where this hook point is going to come out. So that's going to give you a bit of a point of reference. You can either put your finger there, and then pretty much you just want to thread it in nice and easy, and just thread this plastic on like so. There you have it, guys. As quick and as easy as that, coming nice, coming out in the middle, really nice. Now the important thing about rigging plastics is make sure you've got plenty of this tail, okay? You don't want to pick a jig head that's far too big for the hook point to be coming out here and sacrificing all of this tail action, right? You basically want to pick the hook suited so it's going to come out 3/4 of the way, I'd say, down the body of the plastic, no matter what size. That way you've still got all this action that is going to draw in the attention of the fish. Exactly the same as what I've done here with the bigger model. I had another paddle tail soft plastic lying around. I've got about a 3/8 and a 3/0 sitting on this big chunk of plastic, and exactly the same. Hook point coming out nice and central to that plastic. It's not off to the side. You don't want it coming out here. You don't want it coming out the other side. Otherwise it's gonna swim sideways. It's gonna swim a little bit dicky. That's not what you want. But again, matching the jig head to the size of the plastic, coming out 3/4 of the way down the thickness of the main body. So again, you've got all this tail free to move and flap around and make those vibrations in the water to what the fish want. Alright guys, so now this one, if you guys have not seen a hook like this before, this is a weedless hook. So this is going to allow you to throw plastics right up and into the weed, right up and into all the sticks and snags, and not sacrifice losing so many jig heads getting hung up on whatever is down in the water. So this is a really great way to fish in real high density cover. Generally you'd have a weight on this. This is one of the ones I just use for throwing frogs and pinning frogs with, so it's just an unweighted hook, but for the purpose of the video it's going to work just fine. So here is how you are going to want to attack this. So get the hook, put it through the bottom lip of the plastic, again keeping it nice and central. You don't want to grab a whole lot of plastic, but just enough so it's going to want to stay hooked on. So thread this all the way up. This is going to be a little bit tricky because I don't have line on the other end of it. But you just want to bring that plastic above this keeper, like so. Now, this can be the make or break. You don't want to stretch this plastic out too far and then hook it, and you don't want to squeeze it up and bunch it up, otherwise it's going to sit real bent on your hook. So keep it nice and straight, then you pin it straight through the bottom. You bring that hook straight up and out, and there you have it. I like to tuck that hook straight back in under this little top fin here, and that is exactly how you rig a weedless plastic. Really easy, real simple, doesn't take genius, it's not rocket science. You just want to make sure everything is sitting not bent, nice and straight, not bunched together, not stretched out. If it looks nice and realistic, that is basically your aim of the game. And again, I thought this hook was going to be a little bit too big. It's probably maybe a little bit on the bigger side, but you still got plenty of that tail action, which is what you want. Alright guys, so now into the last cool rig we've got. It's called the Ned rig. Ned rig is an American way of rigging plastic. So basically what TT have done, there's other brands that do it. I'm sponsored by TT and I think these jig heads are fantastic. So this is the Nedlocks series of jig heads. Essentially it's just a flat weight down the bottom. So when you rig your plastic, it's designed for creature baits. So if you're throwing a creature bait like a craw or an insect, what it does is this jig head is going to sit flat on the bottom, so your creature is going to stand up like this little guy is right here, and I'll see if I can get a better shot for you guys. So this is what it looks like, guys. So it's going to sit flat on the bottom, and your plastic is going to sit upright in the attack position, which is going to make it look a little bit more aggressive to those fish, and the fish are going to want to strike at it. So essentially with the Ned rig, we're rigging it exactly the same as we did with the Texas rig, this little fella here. Make sure you rig it nice and straight, threading it on. Again, the hook size needs to be about 3/4 the size of that plastic. So here you go, that's about a perfect match. You don't really want it any bigger, otherwise you're going to sacrifice it being too big. You could go a little bit bigger in this case, but this one is probably my preferred size. So again, making sure you're rigging it straight down the middle so it's coming up straight up. It's not going to sit off to the side and be bent. That's what you don't want. Remember, always keep it straight. Now, here is a little secret I'm going to share with you guys on how to exactly weedless rig this guy just here, but with a standard jig head. And again, really easy. It's exactly the same as how we did this fella just here. What you want to do, again, in the bottom of the lip, rig it as such. Bring it back up, making sure you come out of the middle of the plastic there, and there you have it. This is a great way of fishing these creature baits and all these craw style baits really efficiently, so you're not going to get hung up and you're not going to get scared about throwing it into all the trees and sticks and snags and weed. But the hook is right here, so as soon as they bite it, you're going to set that hook and they're going to get stuck. But I like to tuck it right back in. It looks a little bit ugly, however it gets the job done. So that's a cool little technique that basically you're just copying this but with a standard jig head. Some plastics you'll be able to do this with, some you will not. If they're a softer style plastic, you're not going to be able to weedless rig it on a standard jig head because the lip up here is going to pull through. But that's for you guys to work out. This is just me showing you what I like to do, and hopefully you guys can do the same. So for any more information on any of the TT series and anything that you've seen here today, make sure you jump over to tackletactics.com.au and have a look at the TT lures part of the page. You'll be able to find all these Ned locks, all of the headlock series, and many more jig heads. We've got about 1 million jig heads on there in different sizes, colors, styles, whatever you want. TT have it covered. As for plastics, you guys jump over to kitechaustralia.com. You guys will be able to find out a little bit more information on what colors and sizes we've got. These are the 2-inch easy shiners, which are my favorite. Actually a great color that I love throwing down south. But you've got the 3-inch easy shiners, you got fat swing impacts, normal swing impacts, you've got creature baits over there and the noisy flappers. There's 1 million different plastics in this range that you guys should get over and check out as well. So there you go, guys, a few simple and easy techniques on how to efficiently and correctly rig a soft plastic on your jig head. There's 1 million different ways you can do it. These are not the only ones. These are just the main ones that I use. So hopefully you guys can use some of my tips, try them out for yourself, and see if y'all can catch some fish. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give me the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That way I can keep on bringing videos like this to y'all with some helpful ideas and tips and tricks and techniques, whatever you want to call it. I got plenty up my sleeve, so you guys can keep on watching. While you're there, jump over to my Facebook and Instagram, Keeghan Painter Fishing as well. Follow me over there. That way you can keep up to date with what is up. That's it from me, guys. Catch you later.